I'm on a mission to make Destiny's forgotten exotics usable, and today I'm using Dragon's Shadow, a hunter exotic that reloads all weapons and boosts speed and handling when dodging. This exotic doesn't look horrendous, but it comes from a time in Destiny 2 where exotics didn't quite have the pizzazz that they do now. It's kind of a chainmail, almost samurai armor, so I fit accordingly. Now the first thing you might ask when you see this exotic is simply, why? Why have an exotic that reloads your weapons when you dodge when there's already a base dodge that does that? That is a good question. I don't know. This is definitely an exotic that has been left behind in terms of effectiveness over the years, but I think we can make something work. So naturally the dodge of choice is Gambler's Dodge. This exotic reloads all my weapons anyway, so apart from the reduced cooldown, there's really no benefit to taking Marksman Dodge. Since this build will focus on the Hunter's class ability, I want a subclass that's going to let me use it as often as possible, and for that I'm looking at either Solar or Arc. I, and I'm sure all of you, have done a lot of Solar this season, which has lasted over 6 months at this point, so needless to say, I went with Arc. Arc is a much simpler subclass overall as well for class ability regen on the Hunter, and I do like simplicity. Item Manager also said that this exotic counts as a manual reload, which means that any weapons with Volt Shot will also benefit from that as well. I load myself out with a Posterity, a Wither Horde, and a Hullabaloo, and head into a Nightfall to see what's what. Now obviously with this exotic the focus is on your weapons, so the better your weapons are, the better this exotic will seem. I have some pretty decent weapons here, so using them with max handling and reload speed just feels very nice. The movement speed and draw times are also pretty fun too, since I can use a Wither Horde, a Hullabaloo, and then switch back to my primary, all within a split second. It kind of feels like I'm playing Doom or other boomer shooters where you don't have to reload and instead weapon swapping is much more important. I'll be honest, going into this exotic I wasn't expecting much. I mean, it doesn't even do much, so why would I expect much? But I actually think this exotic is somewhat interesting. It kind of unlocks a new playstyle that, like I said, plays a little bit like Doom. It's simple, it's easy to use, and it works. I actually found myself liking it more than I thought I would have. Is this going to take over one of my loadout slots? No, my loadout slots are, at this point, packed full, and a build that's going to overwrite something else needs to be more enjoyable than what's already there. It does feel like it's close to being a really good exotic though. It's something that I'll be keeping an eye on in case there's any changes or buffs. I think even giving your weapons a couple stacks of subclass matching Surge while the buff is active would make it a much more compelling choice. With some of these exotics, they're so simple and easy to understand that I struggle to find things to say about them. Like, here's the subclass I used it on, here's the weapons I used, done. But here, I mean really, what more is there to it? The problem is that it's only giving convenience. I went into a solo lost sector and I was struggling big time. I couldn't rely on ability cooldowns or damage or other benefits that other exotics usually give you. It's just weapon handling and just mobility improvements. They're welcome additions, but they're not ones that are helping me in any meaningful capacity in this lost sector. This Fortifier Yawn guy was destroying me. I swear, I caught this guy teabagging me a couple of times. This dude has so much health and doesn't stagger no matter the damage. I had a true rivalry with this guy. I got tired of dying to this Yawn, so I took a couple days off and cooled my nerves. I went back in for more Dragon's Shadow, and yeah, I've been doing a lot of Nightfalls and Onslaught, so this time I actually went into a heroic story mission. Yeah, I bet you all forgot these existed. I certainly did. Still on Arc, still using Volt Shot, and this time I happen to have Thorn. This is what I like about exotics like this. They don't lock you into a specific loadout or subclass, so I could use any class and any weapon that I wanted. Things went smoothly as expected, and I had a good time. I was actually able to pretty consistently use Volt Shot on my Hullabaloo, which isn't something that I can always say. So, at the end of the day, is this exotic good? I would say yes, and I would actually suggest this exotic to any hunters out there that can't quite let the Stompy dream go. Yes, I know you're out there, I see you everywhere. It gives all the same benefits of Stompies, minus the jump height, and it gives a couple of other benefits like more base mobility and free reloads for all your weapons. Reloads that actually activate reload perks, which isn't something that you usually see. It's good fun, and I think there's a use case for it on a lot of different subclasses being able to use what is essentially both dodges at the same time. Give it a go, and let me know what loadouts you find. Until next time.